a different way through training and through your body, because you are very physical. So I'm going to connect physically to you in a way that's going to connect to your spiritual self. And then your mind comes in the middle, and maybe there's some resistance, but what is that resistance? So there's the mental. So with a mental person, somebody who is in their head, in their mind, they're intellectually analyzing everything all the time. I'm going to go into their body. I'm going to say hello to their mind. This is how you navigate. But let's look at the resistance. Let's go into the body. Let's see where that is. And usually it's very.
Hello, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here today on a new show called For Soul Illumination with my dear friend, Fran Bailey. Hi, Fran.
Hi, Kathy.
I'm so glad you're here. I am so glad to find out your aspect, your knowing, your guidance on soul illumination and what that really means to you. So Fran, I know that you, even as a child, have had remarkable experiences and connection with Source. So could you articulate a little bit for the audience what that journey is, so they understand your incredible relationship with Source?
Oh, thank you. I'll do my best. So as a child, I think I had dreams, I had connections with, whatever. I had all these guides, and I had 3 guides that I called Humma, Chumma, and Bumma. And I would talk to them, and I just thought this is normal. Everybody had that, but no, evidently not. So but I was always aware. I was always aware of energy. I was always aware of not being fearful of nature, and not being fearful around just things that were kind of off base a little bit. So I think my first real experience was when I had a near-death experience and I was at a Christian Science camp, and we took this, rapids down this wild river, and all of a sudden I saw these canoes up like this, and went, uh-oh. So I was the first canoe and held the reeds and said, okay, I got to stop. So everybody stopped. Everybody kind of carried their canoes over, and I was the last canoe, of course, with all the food, and I started sinking. And I went under the water, and my foot went under, and my ankle was between 2 canoes underneath, holding on. I was like looking up, and everybody was kind of laughing at me. And I was like, oh, this isn't a laughing matter. So I saw my life like that go in front of me, and, went through the tunnel, and they saw everybody I knew, and it was very fast. It was very, very quick. And they said, you're not ready. So I sort of felt this rush, like an umbilical cord pulling you back into the womb. But I was back into my body and jolted back, and, got out of it and sat in the empty canoe and kind of cried. But something happened, something changed, something shifted. And I'll never forget it, because it was like another me. There was a connection to another me, and what life meant, and what it will, meet. So there was that. And then we went into, more of, I would sing in front of on a table. I would sing, got the whole world in my hands, and feel these energies around me. And, it was I thought it was a little crazy, but, it went on. And so I went to uh, my dad died, and I had an experience with my guides. I trained with Rosalyn Bruyere, who is an energy healer. She was awesome. So eventually all these things started waking up. And then I would get training as an energy healer, as a dancer, as all these things would start coming into one tunnel, meaning whether it was dance, whether it was hands-on healing, whether it was a spiritual experience, and all those things are all part of consciousness, right? So I think another big point was when I was studying at Connecticut College American Dance Festival, and I was dancing with a solo artist. She was an improvisational artist in New York City. And so I was training with her, and she said, "Okay, Fran, you're ready." I went, "Okay, whatever that means." So she put me in front of the class and one musician, and it was an improvisation class. So that means that there's nothing set and you just respond to the music. So I'm moving and dancing to the music and kind of going to this spin and this circle. And I sort of had a definitely a spiritual experience of physical, emotional, spiritual. I mean, some sort of place like a Sufi dancer where you just, what happened? I don't know, but something happens. So in that plane, the physical plane, the emotional plane, the spiritual plane, you're going into another dimension. And that dimension is peaceful because you experience nothing and everything. And I think that's that whole kind of, thing that happens. So
that's kind of being in the flow, but that's more, you had a more profound, spiritually transformative experience where there was no separation. At least that's what I'm understanding between you and God, source, the universe, and infinite intelligence, all those names, right?
Right.
Right. So do you find that you bring that remembrance and that place back in on a regular basis when you inform and do your work, or was that just a blip on your film of your life, or was that a portal, and is it still a portal?
Good question. I think it's both and.
Okay.
I think it is a portal. At the same time, it is a place where we as humans can go, which gives us this ultimate truth of kind of why we're here and what we are to experience as one. And I think that in the work, whether it's movement, whether it's energy, whether it's understanding the functioning of the personality, how do we do all that? How do we put all that together in order to find that one thing, the thing that makes us tick? It's like love. It's like the same that keeps us coming back for more. But we are so designed to have these fine definitions of everything. And then when you suddenly look at learning about life, but then take that away, then you're in the center. Then you're right in the middle. It's like the chakra, you're right in the middle.
So that connection to the peacefulness, the grace, the beauty, it's divine beauty is what you're talking about.
Yes.
That I think is what so many people are longing for. They're trying to reconnect the chaos that we have in our regular lives and in our third dimensional world. This connection you're talking about is really almost your soul mission, your soul expression, and the only reason you came here, correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Interesting. As a performer, would choreograph these pieces And I remember saying to myself, well, I want the audience to be still. I want them to feel what this feels like. So I think that's the impetus of everything, of, whether I'm working with somebody on the table or whether I'm, whatever I'm doing. I don't know. It's the same. It's like art. It's like the same kind of thing. Art and healing are the same principles. And we have that power. I really believe that we do.
So when you are doing, and just by the way, anybody that doesn't know about Fran's healing, she's my go-to. She is amazing, amazing. And it's franbaileyhealer.com, and we'll make sure that everyone knows that. So Fran, when you are working with other people and you work with them in group or in person or online, do you connect to your soul and then work with their soul? Or do you see their soul as separate, or do you become them in the process and there's not a lot of differentiation between you and them?
I think what happens is I hold the space for that individual to show up. And when that individual shows, when I look at a person, I look at the body, mind, heart, and soul. And until there is one cue or one word that allows them to relax and come into themselves, all of aspects of themselves, then I will come in and share what my knowledge is. And then we find that place of communication. And it could be anywhere. It could be in any kind of plane. But if there's a little cue and there's a little moment of aha, and then I ask, what just happened? So that they remember, they figure out, oh, that's the cue that I remember what happened with my body, my mind, my heart, my soul. So it's an interesting analysis because it has to do with language and it has to do with energy and it has to do with connecting with their soul. So I kind of go from above back in and above, if that makes any sense.
It does make a lot of sense to me. Okay, so you see them then as separate, and you see them in a way that you can see the energy centers in their body, and you can actually see if there's something that's not, that needs a tune-up.
Right,
Like,
right.
like, oops, the energy's running slow on that one. I'll just work on that one. But when you do that, there is a permanent change with these people. Something about them is able to remember that connection to their soul and who they are as a divine being. So you're doing so much more than healing a physical body. It's really a soul reconnection in an aspect, right?
Yeah, I would say that if that is missing, it's like if there's a resistance in the body, then I will find the resistance and make a connection to understanding what that resistance is, because it takes some mental, physical, it's almost like physics. It's physics. If there's something going on with the body, then, or the mind or the heart, how are we going to unleash all these so that they flow together? And that is connecting with the soul, because the soul is not in resistance.
Okay. So my next question is about this surrender to the soul. So you innately knew how to do that from a little girl, and you had some maybe teachers and guides that were around you, and that of course you could express it through dance because your mother was a dancer, your father, you had a lot of music in your home. So I'm giving a lot of information that only I would know, maybe, but I'm wondering the journey for for your students and that your clients. you've worked with NFL players that are rough, tough guys, big, rough, tough guys. And how do you get them to surrender? How does the journey work? Because they've been taught to be warriors. And really almost anyone in a professional, not necessarily a physical professional sport, an athlete like that, but almost any business person, a lawyer, a doctor, anyone that's been top of their game and had to put in a lot of practice and effort to get there, they're all not used to surrendering at all.
Yeah.
How do you get them to surrender to it?
Well, I think first, if you look at how they've navigated their life, number one, if they've navigated their life through their body, that's how you run the language.
Oh.
So as a dancer, I had to be disciplined all the time and hours of studies. So how I approach it was say, okay, so we're going to approach this ability to sort of look at life in a different way through training and through your body, because you are very physical. So I'm going to connect physically to you in a way that's going to connect to your spiritual self. And then your mind comes in the middle, and maybe there's some resistance, but what is that resistance? So there's the mental. So with a mental person, somebody who is in their head, in their mind, they're intellectually analyzing everything all the time. I'm going to go into their body. I'm going to say hello to their mind. This is how you navigate, but let's look at the resistance. Let's go into the body. Let's see where that is. And usually it's just the way it is. So, it's like, studying the Enneagram, studying the personalities, and you have to, either it's mind, body, and heart. So how do they navigate? How do they run their lives through what? Their mind, body, or heart. So that's sort of the practical thing. Now, what happens energetically is another story, depending on the client.
Well, I think this time that we're in right now, there's so much fear. It's a fear virus as much as anything, and chaos.
Yeah.
And that's why I was asking about the soul connection that you provide when you're doing these healings, and when you're teaching healers how to use your Shiva method. So why don't we talk about that a little bit, so you could explain the Shiva method a little bit, if you don't mind, so that the people that are new to you will get a chance to understand how wonderful it is.
Yeah. So the method was developed in 2002. The word Shiva was channeled to me, seeking harmony and energy, voice, and action. And I said, what's that? Okay, let's do this. I think it's a method, but I've been doing it for 20 years and finally figured out that this method of body, mind, heart, and from my experience, it's the technique is very simple. It's very practical. It's very palpable. So I do a meditation, chakra clearing. I do physical body work to teach you how to run energy on your own body, to understand where those blocks are. If I use my pressure points, all these different places where like if you just put your hands right here, it's like, okay, there's my brain. If I run energy between my thumbs and here, oh, that's the half of my brain running this way, and there's including the rest of the brain. So it's called brain balance. I mean, that's that simple. These simple techniques of just doing one thing. And it's simplifying what it's like a direct. I want efficiency. I want efficiency, but I want clarity. And that's what this is. So we do the mind, the body, and then the Enneagram was our personality and how we go into resistance of not connecting to our soul. And of course, in meditation, we definitely go to the soul, but we stay grounded. So that's what I teach you how to do, is stay present, stay grounded, connected to soul source.
Right. Well, this work is amazing and it's incredibly fast. Just as you said about being efficient, it's amazing in a very short time period. I want to tell a little story. I was at the IONS conference a year ago, so it's 2 years ago, and I caught a cold, and there were all these healers there, and I had them work on me while I was there because I really felt terrible. And no one seemed to be able to clear it. And then I came home and right away called Fran. And just like that, it was gone. And it wasn't that it had run its course. It was still going full board. So Fran has a way, and she can also teach this, which is amazing. She has a way to actually see where the blocks are in your energy and then do something about it. But it doesn't seem like it's unempowering. It doesn't feel like I can't do it myself. You do a great job of walking the person through what you're doing. You're disclosing everything, so it's not like a mystery, oh, go take a pill and see what happens. This is
Right.
you're actually articulating what you're doing and taking the patient on a journey as they're getting transformed, basically. And the body knows, right? So how does the body know? How is that? How does that connect with your body, mind, and soul? How do you see that all connecting?
Okay, so I think if we just get out of the way, and this system that we have, this mechanism is just remarkable. And so if you know, it's like Leonardo da Vinci, if you look at one of his drawings, if you look at the beauty in which he studied and the source of what we have, if you utilize it and connect with it, we've gotten so far away from it that I think that there is this evidence and the possibility that we can reconnect.
That's so beautiful. That is so beautiful. I love the idea that we are reconnecting to the expansiveness of ourselves and inviting our soul to be more embodied into this physical vessel rather than giving all of our power away and looking at us like this is a machine.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that we kind of missed the memo on that one. But when you connect in your own personal life to your soul, do you have a specific practice that you use?
To myself, yeah, well, I always do either body work or meditation or both. Definitely my sort of system is about 5:30 in the morning, and I sort of scan my body and see where the blocks are and go through meditation and, you know, go into different planes and say, okay, so what's coming, you know, what's coming? And so this connection, sort of channeling what humankind might need at the time, and I'm the guinea pig. So that's how I know, because I'm the one that's, okay, this is the tester. And then I get out of my way and then find out what I'm supposed to share. That kind of.
Well, I think it's more than that. I think your connection helps clear a lot of people. You've been doing this work for all this time, and your field is connected to these beautiful beings that have also been working with you. And so you're clearing for all of us, I think, not just yourself. And that memo that you get from the divine is like, okay, I'm on assignment, I'm here, right?
Right, right, right. And, um, you know, I just think that if what's the word? Talk the walk or walk the talk, whatever it is, that's expression of, you know, if I can't do it, then how do I expect you to do, you know, it's
Right.
like this, the skill, it's a skill and I share the skill, but it's up to you and it's your responsibility to find that inside yourself. You
Yes.
know, it will never stay if I come in and do. That's why it's important to have that articulation and to understand what is happening and why it's happening and that you can own it
Perfect.
because then it will stay.
Perfect. Perfect. I love that. And I can attest to that's what happens is that the body knows what it needs. It's trying to tell you. And as we were growing
Right.
up, we were told just take a pill, you'll be better and forget about it. And this is the total opposite. This
Yeah.
is your body's trying to tell you something, and hey, you might want to pay attention
Yeah.
before it really starts screaming, right?
Right. Right. And, you know, life is life. I mean, life gets in the way and things happen and we do respond. I mean, I'm human. I'm certainly have my issues. I mean, you know, I do. So it's the test. That's always the test that we're given. But you know, it's just the way how we ride the wave. And if we have tools to do it with, then great.
Oh,
You know,
that's great. I love it. I think, and I love that you have created these tools that even I can do, and that it's not a difficult practice. This isn't a practice that you have to wear funny clothes or speak another language or listen to music that's unusual. You get to just do whatever is comfortable for you and fit it into your lifestyle, but it is a practice. And we, in ancient times, I think humans were more connected to their soul and they did have practices. It didn't matter what indigenous group you were from, you had a spiritual part of your life. So one of my questions I wanted to ask is,
yeah.
okay, you ready? This is part of the Four Soul Illumination process now, is to ask a question of the guest. And this is hopefully going to be an easy one for you. But how do you perceive the relationship between our daily material life and our spiritual, soulful existence? And what advice would you give to someone struggling to balance or integrate the two?
Um, I would say silence, number one. You know, really, you know, what is the nuisance that what are the things that are in your way? And ask the questions, well, if I really want to more consciousness, then I need to redirect some energy and redirect some time and open some space in order to look at me inside. And there's this question I ask with a lot of clients. I say, okay, so I want you to lay on the floor and I want you to put your hands on your heart. And I want you to ask yourself, what am I going to do for me today? What am I going to do for me today? Now, when I say me, it's the way it was said is a resonance inside. So it's the inner dialogue that I'm talking about. What is it that I need for me today? And that is a hello to the possibility of, okay, so am I going to meditate? Am I going to do body work? Am I just going to sit here and cry? What am I going to do? And so to recognize that no one's perfect. These skills are there for you to find out that you are perfect wherever you are in your life and that there are no mistakes, and that, appreciate where you are and learn from the lessons you've had, and begin to understand that every experience is sacred. Every experience is sacred. And so even in the toughest of times, there's a little nugget in there that says, okay, I got it. I got it. And then let go of the drama, and then continue in that flow of life through these skills. And I think you'll find yourself. You'll find more of yourself, and you'll have a fuller life, more meaning, and it's bigger. We live in this small little thing. Why not make it bigger? What the hell? Make it bigger. Make it more volume, make it more color, make it richer beyond what you should do, what you have to do, and what you ought to do.
That's so perfect. And that's the courageous life, and the way to connect to your soul again is to get out of fear, get out of the shoulda, woulda, couldas, and leave that past storyline behind and go to the new, and see that life has so much to offer.
Yeah.
You're not a victim. You actually are a soul who chose to have a human experience. Go for it, right?
Right. Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, I love the Shiva method. And again, we'll have everything so that you can listen and go to Fran's website and go to her YouTube channel and learn so much more from this incredibly powerful being that I'm talking to right now.
Oh,
and
thank you.
and give yourself the gift of your reconnection to your soul and reconnect to beauty and grace, correct?
Correct. And if you want to start, there's a free download on the bottom of the page of a meditation that I've done. And so feel free to start with that and go from there.
Once you find Fran at franbailey.com, franbaileyhealer.com, once you find her, you'll be so glad you did. And you'll also get to experience a new lightness of being, which is really what we're all hoping for, is a lightness of being, an illumination of your soul, and a reconnect with who you really are, the love that you are.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Fran.
Thank you, Kathy. Good to see you.
Great. Well, we'll talk again soon. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.